welcome back on the red carpet with Allison. I have an award-winning multi-genre pianist, composer, recording artist, and voting member of the Grammys. I'm excited about that part. I'm excited about all of it. He's an author and mental health advocate. Joe Kenny is joining me on the red carpet. Joe, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. We do have a lot to talk about, so I'm so excited that you're excited. First, before we dive into everything and why you came on today, I want to learn, who is Joe Kenny?
Yeah, so you had a great description there. I'm so proud of my versatility. I'm a multi-genre pianist, I'm a recording artist, I'm a composer, content creator. I put out music every day of improvisations. I have 7 albums out myself. I have 1 book out with more on the way. We'll talk about the book. As you mentioned, I'm a mental health advocate who runs a music and mental health awareness music festival. And so jack of all trades, and I'm thankful to be involved in many different arenas.
Jack of all trades for sure. You are like the Joe of all trades, I want to say. I want to dive in, obviously, to your affirmations and all about that because you were telling me about it and it sounds so amazing. But first, you said you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing all of your fun stuff?
Yeah, so just a quick recap. I started playing the piano when I was 6, so
Wow.
I'm 36 now, so for 30 years.
Wow.
So thankful and blessed that my parents put me in piano lessons and it really stuck, and I've loved it ever since. So even out of high school, I was performing at retirement homes professionally, making calls, setting up performances for myself. And that's another thing I do too. I manage other artists. So I love the business side of it, love obviously the artistic side of it. So professionally, ever since I finished high school, I was doing it. I went to college, Westchester University, got a Bachelor of Music in Piano Performance. And even throughout my college years, I was performing and creating opportunities and following leads.
You and I, similar pathway. So I'm 23. I did all of that fun stuff in school. I did theater. Funny story, my mom gave me singing lessons as a Christmas present the one year. Well, the kid who was brand new to the job thought that I was there for piano lessons. So he gave me a couple piano lessons and I thought, oh, this is just part of the singing. But it was cool and I have such a respect for the arts and the music. But without further ado, tell me the real reason why you were on the red carpet. I want to hear all about these affirmations. It sounds so interesting.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in my book, Affirmations for High Achievers, which is going to be a series of 7, I'm aspiring to 7 to 10 volumes. I put the first volume out October 3rd of 2025, and Affirmations for High Achievers pairs musical pieces that I composed and wrote with formulas for success, strategies to get into a flow state for optimal performance, to work and combat mental health hangups or writer's block. And so I'm somebody that can use a clear and concise directive to keep myself focused, to beat the existential dread, and to really achieve my best. And so I would go on walks and I would have different formulas that would keep me aspiring, shooting for high goals, finding my inner worthiness while still trying to strive for tangible and intangible yields. And I put out my first volume that includes 160 affirmations, and each page there's a QR code you can scan, and it leads to an original piece of music on YouTube that I wrote. You can sit back, you can repeat the affirmation in your head as you listen to the music, intentionally created to help you get into an immersive feel so that you can really internalize the message.
So intentional. Joe, you just said a lot of great things. So intentional, so personable. How did this happen? Because it didn't just happen overnight. That there's so much work, it sounds, that you put into this, and it sounds so beautiful. And I listened to a few that you sent me, and I was like sitting there and I had chills, and they really make you sit back for a moment and think. So what was the process of creating affirmations for high achievers like?
Yeah, so it started out over an 8-year process of me on a note-taking app on my phone, writing affirmations while taking nature walks. And the idea was it was going to be a couple hundred, and I would just release them as one book. It blossomed into over 1,100 affirmations.
Wow.
And during that time, I was also, I'm big into self growth. I'm big into trying to be my best self and to try to share my techniques with others who may benefit. So I was very meticulous in not only documenting affirmations, but also one of my music albums, Reflections on Inner Transformation, was all about self growth too. It was 16 original pieces of original piano music focused on different points of personality and things I wanted to bring to another level. And so I was documenting pieces for growth while I was documenting affirmations. And then when I wrote the book of affirmations, I pushed the goalpost a little bit further and said, you know what? Let's create an original piece inspired by each single affirmation. So that took an extra couple years.
Yeah.
And finally, I did get it completed, end of 2024, edited, and then released in 2025. So yeah, a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving the goalpost back a bit sometimes for me, and that's kind of what I tend to do, but I'm so proud.
You should be proud. And I just want to take a moment because I feel like everybody needs to be honest with themselves for a moment. Like if you are struggling, like whether it be mental health wise or physically, there are resources out there, and it's so beautiful that you put one out there with music, because let's be honest, music helps no matter what you're feeling. Bad breakup, there's a song for it. You're going through something personal or something sad, there's probably a song out there for it. So interlacing music with like a mental health, like serious note in there is beautiful. Have you personally been helped by your own affirmations?
Yes. So the crux of the affirmations are they are a tool for my own mental health struggles. I grapple with a comorbidity of anxiety and bipolar disorder, and thankful to have the resources to, be medicated in a way that's helpful for that. But beyond that, there's important things to do to stay consistent, to foster a healthy mindset. Music is such an important one for that for me, and I have the tool being able to perform and improvise and create, and writing too. And so they all help me. That's where they started. So, and they're all I statements. So I'm trying to drive home the point that these really stemmed from points of growth that would help me. And then if it then helps anybody else, that's so powerful and makes it a worthwhile thing for me.
And how has the feedback been? Because this is newly released. So if people like reached out to you, and can you share a story of somebody reaching out saying like, hey, I just want to let you know you have helped me so much?
Yeah, so I started posting the affirmations on social media, and new ones and ones not even in the first volume, years ago, with the lead up to the book and trying to draw some buzz, but also just to help people. And on my TikTok, which is Joe Kenny Piano, and all of my socials are at Joe Kenny Piano. But on TikTok, I would post every day, and I had a lady reach out to me who lives in Oklahoma. And she was saying how impactful my affirmations were, that she relies on them every day and how much they mean to her. And that really went a long way for me to know that, okay, I'm writing these for me, but they resonate with someone else, and it's making a tangible impact immediately. So,
And it's now going far beyond you, and that's incredible. incredible. That is something to be so proud of. And you mentioned your TikTok, and on a lighter note, I just want to mention I stumbled upon your video where you were playing Taylor Swift, and you were like, but give it a classical feel. And I was like, okay, wait, this actually needs to be released because this is so good. And Joe is being so modest and humble. He is amazing on those keys. Like, I listened to all those videos, and he is just wonderful. And again, you're using music for such a great thing. Now, if somebody's watching this, remind them if they're struggling, if they want to check it out, where can they find Affirmations for High Achievers?
Yeah, you can buy the book at affirmationsforhighachievers.com. I'm currently working on the audio book too, but you can also get it through ordering it through your local bookstore. It'll be available. They'll have it in their system to ship it into you. Same thing. It's going to be available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Through my website, affirmationsforhighachievers.com, I sell autographed copies too. So plenty of places to get it. And you can also get some daily content on my socials, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at Joe Kenny Piano, where I'll write the affirmation right into the video of me performing. So you can get a really immersive experience. And it's focused on loving yourself, on striving for the best that you can be, which fluctuates day to day based on all the things we go through. And I think it'll really empower you to find the courageous spot within yourself and to see that you're worthy with or without what you accomplish, but that you can also dream big and shoot for the stars.
That's beautiful. I don't even want to talk after that because that is just like, I have chills right now with how like amazing this is and so eye-opening. And I do also want to point out, we're going to take a break here in a couple of minutes, but winter is coming up in NEPA, and I was born and raised here, and you drove from Philly today. First of all, applause for that in your home. This man drove from Philly. We're supposed to be getting some snow here later today, but that in itself, being from NEPA, and you know, it gets dull here. Like, winter is a very hard season for so many people with like the holidays and maybe losing a loved one and struggling with that. And if these affirmations can help, I strongly suggest somebody check these out. And here's the thing, we're not just talking about affirmations with Joe. He is he's the Joe of all trades. He has a band. He just released his 6th and 7th studio albums so you're single and then you have a band, right?
Yes. So I have several albums out as a soloist. In September, I just released the improvised cinematic piano sessions. It is indicative of, the title is indicative pretty clearly of what it is. I did one take improvisations on themes that just came to me, and the idea is they're cinematic or great for potential soundtrack placements. And as I work on a movie with a friend that I'm doing, and I'm trying to get other sync placements in film and TV. So that was my 6th studio album. And then my 7th album was my full band, Joe Kenny Band. We do jazz fusion, jam band, adjacent covers of popular songs from different eras. We also have an award-winning original album out that's jazz fusion, neo soul. We're touring all throughout the East Coast, and I love to stay active, and you know, I'm really trying to seize my moment on this earth and do the best I can.
And seize it you are. Does he ever stop? That's my main question. We are going to take a quick break. You're going to stick around, right?
Yeah, love to.
We have so much more to talk about. More on the red carpet when we return. Welcome back from break. I am here joined with Joe Kenny. This has been wonderful so far. We have talked about affirmations for high achievers, and now, since he's the Joe of all trades, we're going to learn more about his band and why he is such a big mental health advocate. So, Joe, tell me about this tour that you and your band are going on. That's so exciting.
Yeah, so always working on new music, and my band is more of a collective. We have some different moving parts, and it's aptly named after me, Joe Kenny. So it's called Joe Kenny Band. And so we have an original album out called Forth, Forth, because motion is very important to me. And so it was also my fourth album at the time, so a little bit of a play on words. And my band, the primary components are me on keyboards. We have drums, we have bass, and then sometimes we feature a saxophone player, different vocalists, different guitarists. And we have some tour dates coming up in the end of 2025 into 2026. And some of those include the Abbey Bar in Harrisburg, PA, opening up for Flux Capacitor on March 6th. And that's going to be a big one for us. We have our full tour schedule at joekennyband.com/tour, so check it out. And beyond that, I'm working on another full album for the band, which is going to include some orchestral components, working on potentially a string quartet for some of the songs. And then in tandem, I also have a fully improvised Fender Rhodes keyboard-based album that's going under the umbrella of Joe Kenny Band too. So 2 new albums on the way, a lot to celebrate, and a lot of tour dates being announced. We have the one in Harrisburg I mentioned. We also have some in Delaware, some in Philly, where I live, in the suburbs out there. And we're working on some in Maryland too, and some different summer festivals on the East Coast. So you can definitely check out joekennyband.com/tour. And we would love to see you out there. I think we have an energized, dynamic, distinctive, and really musically artistic and beautiful show for you.
And of course, tickets can also be found, like all the ticket info can be found on your website, right?
joekennyband.com. You can get the ticket info, and that'll go live soon for the Abbey Bar, March 6th in Harrisburg.
You're going to have to come back to just promote your tour, like just to promote the tour side. I also want to take a moment. Like I said, you are a voting authority for the Grammys. What's that like? That when I read that in his bio, I was like, wait, that is the coolest thing ever. And I'm like fangirling a little bit over it. So talk to me about that and how you got involved with the Grammys.
Yeah, so it's an aspiration of mine, and I talk about this in the book, to win a Grammy. I think I like to dream big, and I think I like to model courage in that way for my daughter, as she's my reason why. And so part of the process of submitting music to the Grammys and being active in that Recording Academy community is becoming a voting member. So there's an application process. I had to compile my credits as a recording artist, get some recommendations, submit an application, and I think I've been a voting member for several years. And so I get to attend some networking functions, and I actually went to network at one of the Grammy events a few years ago. And I submit my music every year. I'll be submitting the improvised cinematic piano sessions to that and to some other competitions. And I've met some great colleagues who I've collaborated with, who we've symbiotically inspired each other. And it's been an important component of me, again, shooting for the stars and trying to manifest big dreams.
And manifesting you are, and I'm manifesting that I get a call from you that says, hey, Allison, I was just nominated for a Grammy, which is, I can so totally see it happening. I want to go back to your daughter for a moment. If you don't mind me asking, how old is she?
She's 9.
Oh my gosh, wait, I have a 9-year-old sister.
That's awesome.
She is my pride and joy. We're 15 years apart. So no kids in between, just me and my sister. And I was telling you during the break, I said, you know, I love wrestling, and she's my reason why that I love wrestling. And I have not created a monster, but she loves all things music, and it's just wonderful to talk about her and experience life and experience music with her. She actually, when she was in preschool, she told her, the teacher said, "Well, what's your favorite nursery rhyme?" She goes, "Those are for kids. I listen to Ariana Grande and Morgan Wallen." Oops. Oops. But I love it. And seeing life through a child's perspective is just a beautiful thing. So enjoy that. I love that for you. Does she cheer dad on when he's on tour?
She not only cheers me on, she helps me set up my merch.
Oh.
She loves to use her visionary skills to set up the merch table, to suggest some songs to come with me and be an awesome roadie during some shows. And she's so amazing and talented in her own right. And to kind of tie it back to what you said about your sister, she also is very much, it's cute. She's kind of above the quote unquote kid thing in certain
Yes.
ways, where she's just beyond her years. She's a phenomenal speller. She's her class president. She plays
Aw.
French horn. She does some piano, some singing, and she's just an incredible, caring kid. And I might be a little bit biased, but I'm so grateful for her.
We all are. We're all biased in our own right with our family, but it's so beautiful. And hearing you talk about music and your daughter, it is just so amazing and heartwarming. Another thing that kind of warms my heart, you are such a mental health advocate. And I want to talk about your mental health festival that you do that really shines a light and lets those people struggling know that they're not alone. So please talk to me about that.
Yes, so in 2023, a colleague of mine, Katie Butler, and I started Harmonic Hope and Healing. And it's an organization at the intersection of sound healing and music therapy and finding accessible healing modalities for people struggling with mental health, particularly looking at music and its value and the value of music therapy for health and wellness, as well as for slowing the aging process. And so the first 2 years we had a one-off one-day festival we had health and wellness vendors. We had bands that aligned with the vision of being mental health forward and pro destigmatization, because I think we've come a long way in different arenas with progressive values, and mental health is there's still a lot of work to be done. And I myself struggle with bipolar disorder, and I just want to be a safe space, and that's another reason I want to succeed in different areas, because if I can be a model for, okay, you can be grappling with your struggles, whatever they may be, particularly in mental health, and still succeed, still have stability, still have inner peace, still have love, still have a community that supports you. So this year, 2025, it's a whole concert series for Harmonic Hope and Healing. We've expanded. A lot of it's taking place in Phoenixville, but we're looking to go into different areas. So Phoenixville, PA. One of the events is going to be May 2nd. It's going to be a yoga class with me playing piano in the background. Oh, wow. And then we have other concerts that are featuring some regional bands. My band, Joe Kenny Band, will be performing at some. And each of those events is going to have a different mental health organization beneficiary. One of them is going to be the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We have some local charities within Phoenixville we're supporting. There's also going to be our second straight year with a panel discussion with different music therapists and with different mental health professionals that's focused on the value of music. There's going to be a Q&A. We're going to show a movie at a local theater that inspires about the power of music and music therapy.
Wow.
So a lot of different events to shine light on mental health awareness and destigmatization, and it aligns with Mental Health Awareness Month in May. So this all takes place during May to highlight that important part of the year. But I do the affirmations, and we're looking to expand beyond May, because mental health is something you grapple with. It is up and down every day, if not every week to month. So
right. And I think what you're saying is so important, because I think a lot of people who are struggling, and I've had my own mental health struggles in the past, and I think for so many they're like ashamed by it, and like they shouldn't be ashamed because like you're saying, like this festival is such a safe space that it really could help save a life, or just for a moment make them stop and say, hey, wait, I am loved, I am okay, I will be okay, and no matter what I'm going through, I can handle it. So the message of that is beautiful, and I wish you nothing but success on that venture and like all of your ventures. One more time, we're going to be wrapping up soon. I really don't want to. I want to keep you here forever and just talk to you all the time. Remind everybody about Affirmations for High Achievers.
Yes, so Affirmations for High Achievers is my new book series, and it's available on wherever you get your books. The first volume features 160 affirmations paired with 160 original piano compositions that I created so that you can get into an immersive state and enjoy a musical means to internalize the messages of hope, self-love, and creating a meaningful and lasting legacy for yourself and those who you advocate for, those who matter to you.
That's beautiful. And that's how we're going to wrap up the episode. Joe, I'm so excited to see what the whole future holds for you. I cannot wait. As for me, on the red carpet, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, 2 to 3 p.m. weekdays. Joe Nardone, that is. You know the drill. Roll that outro.